Hello, guys. Welcome back once again to another episode of Learn Data Analytics with Blessing. And if you are just coming across my video for the very first time, my name is Ibrahim Blessing, a data analyst passionate about growth. So, as usual, every time we want to start a course, we don't just move straight to the practical aspect. I always do my best to try to explain what that course is all about before we start looking at the practical aspect of it. In this course, we'll be looking at SQL, some call it SQL, some call it SQL, but it's SQL actually. The introduction to SQL, that is structured query language. I'm very sure not everybody, some of us already know how to use this, while some of us are just new to the system, new to the field of data analytics, and SQL is one key skill that you need to know how to use as a data analyst or someone interested in the field. So first we have to start with what database is all about, without looking at the SQL part or SQL part, whichever one you call it. What is database? A database is a structured collection of data stored electronically for easy access, management, and retrieval. Just think of it as a library. Now, when you enter into a library, you would notice or see that every books in the library have been stored in different sections. If you want a math note, you'd find it where they store math textbook or math book. If you want an English book, they store it where you have. So think of it as that e-library where every data, every information, every books are being structured, they are being organized. So for example, your Google Drive is a database that's where you store most of your files. For example, the contacts on your phone, it's a database to where you have names saved, you have phone numbers, and their emails in a structured way. That is database. Now we bring it back to SQL. What is database in SQL? A database in SQL is an organized collection of structured data. When we say structured, we mean data that have been arranged in rows and columns in a table that allow efficient storage, storing your data, retrieval, and management of information using some SQL commands or SQL command. So it serves as a container for your tables, which stores related data in rows as well as in columns. So what is relational database? You can't talk about database in SQL and not refer to relational database. A relational database organizes data into tables that are connected by relationship. So just think of it as you having different sheets in Microsoft Excel that are linked together. Maybe you have a sheet that contains customer details, another sheet that contains others. If you want to link those tables together, there has to be a common column that is common between both. You remember how we did when we were creating model in Microsoft Excel as well as in Power BI, how we use common tables to create common columns to create relationship between those tables and form a data model. Same way here. So for example, an online store may have one table for customers and another table for others, and both tables are connected by a common field customer ID. So with relational database, you can keep your data structured and avoid duplicates in your data. Examples of this relational database are we have MySQL used for websites like Facebook and Twitter. We have PostgreSQL that is popular for analytics and reporting. Then we have Microsoft SQL Server that is used by enterprise to store business data, which we're using for this tutorial. Then we have Oracle database that's often used in banking and finance industry. So if you want to look at the banking and finance industry, you might want to learn Oracle database. All right. So what is SQL itself? What is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language, SQL. It is a language that you use to communicate with database, used in helping you retrieve data from a database or store data in a database, update data in a database, and delete data from a database. Just think of it as that language you use to talk to your database. For example, you are going to a library to ask a librarian for a specific book. So why learn SQL? Why is it important for you to learn SQL? Apart from the fact that you're a data analyst and it's a skill that is needed to learn SQL, to do data analytics. One is data is everywhere. It is not the new oil that is everywhere. So companies deal with data daily. They collect data daily from customers purchase to website visits, different places they get data. To organizing data, With SQL, you can structure and manage your data easily. 3, making sense out of data. Just the way you can summarize your data using pivot tables to just draw insight from it. Here in SQL, you can also use SQL commands. You can use it to analyze business data to get trends and to help them make better decisions. Then universal skill SQL is used across industries like finance, in healthcare, in tech, is used across various industries. So it's a very needed skill. We have some basic SQL command, although these are not the only basic SQL. We have a lot of SQL commands that we'll be looking at together in this tutorial. So there's a select statement. The select statement will help you, or it is used to fetch information from a database. We have the insert statement. This would, if you want to add in data, to your database, you use insert. We have update. If you want to modify your existing data, you want to update the data you have there, use update. Delete if you want to remove unwanted data. We have lots of them. There are a lot of SQL commands that we can work with. We look at each and every one of them one after the other in the tutorial. And the next thing is, what is the real world application of SQL? SQL can be used in the e-commerce to track sales, customer orders, and inventory. It can be used in the banking industry to manage their transactions and their customer account. It can be used in social media to store users' data like their posts, their comments, and their messages, as well as in healthcare. To keep their patient record and appointment schedule, SQL is needed. Can you see how important it is to know how to use this skill, most especially as a data analyst? Then we have importance of using SQL. Number one is the fact that with SQL you can store large amount of data. There's no limit to the amount of data you can store in database using SQL. With SQL you can ensure data integrity by reducing duplicates in your data, maintaining the structured record that you have. With SQL you can fetch data from large amount of data sets. With SQL you can analyze business data to check for trends and draw insights. You can analyze customer behavior and financial reports. With SQL, you can reduce manual data entry by allowing bulk updates and automated reporting. With SQL, you can control who gets access to your data on the database. It can also be used in small projects in large enterprise systems and making it a valuable and long-term skill to use. So this, at least, I'm pretty sure with this, if you don't know what SQL is about, you have a hint of what it is and why it's very important to acquire the skill. All right, so we'll meet in our next video where we'll be looking at the Microsoft SQL Server, because that's what we'll be using for this tutorial, as well as how to create database and all of that things. So see you next time in my next video. Bye.